What's up guys, Chris here from Signs of Life. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to start a brand new series here on the channel featuring Arturia's Pigments. I've been a Pigments owner now for a couple years, but since version 3 I think they've really increased the usability of the synth, and I find myself being drawn into it more and more. So I hope in this series I'm going to be able to communicate some of those ideas and some of those techniques so you guys can add it to your own ambient sound design workflows, alright? In today's video we're going to design a simple ambient pad using the Granular engine and the Wavetable engine, and I hope by the end of this series you guys are going to have a more comprehensive view of Pigments so you guys can add it to your own ambient productions. All right, so if you like this kind of video, make sure you smash that like button on the way in, subscribe to the channel if you guys feel called to do so, and let's get into Arturia's Pigments. All right, so here we are inside of Ableton Live 11. Now, the goal of today's video is to showcase some of the techniques that I use in Pigments so you guys can add it to your own ambient sound design workflows. The way we're going to get there is we're going to build up some harmonic content by running the piano through the reverb trick. This is like an age-old technique that I've been using for years. Cameron from Venus Theory has a great video on it in his Pigments video. So I'm going to showcase that today in our video because now we have Supermassive at our disposal, and Supermassive is a Wavetable plugin. It's totally free. You guys should go check that out if you haven't already. I'm sure you guys all use it, and it's a beautiful plugin that allows us to build up some really dense, lush reverb super quickly, and then we can use that and throw that inside of the Granular engine inside of Pigments. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a stock piano from Ableton. You can use the piano sound inside of Pigments, but I find the Ableton one is it's really piano sounding like, and we're just going to play some notes on the piano. Okay, so I'm in the key of E minor. That's very important. We're going to remember about that in a little bit. So here we go. I'm just going to play some notes, and then I'm going to throw that through Supermassive. Now, piano is just piano, right? So let's add Supermassive on top of that. And what we're going to do here in Supermassive, like I said, this is a free plugin from the good guys at Valhalla, and we're gonna increase the mix here and increase the delay time and then increase the warp factor. And the warp factor is how much that delay and reverb gets multiplied. So we want a really dense, lush reverb, increase the feedback, increase the density, and then take down the mod, take down the depth, and give the EQ the old ambient, 1800s and 200. Now, with the mode, that's the algorithm choice that we're going to use. Now, there are 12 different algorithms as of this recording of this video, and we're going to choose one of the longer ones. So we're going to hover over Andromeda here, which says it's a long reverb with repeating echoes, long decay, and slow attack. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. So you're going to hear, as soon as I start playing the piano, it's going to sound really lush, and we're going to get some really great, like I said, harmonic information that we can put into Pigments. Check it out. Yeah, you hear that tail right there? That's exactly what we want. So we're going to granulize that, or granular sample that inside of Pigments, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna record some MIDI notes here into a lane, and then I'm gonna bounce those out, and then we'll get started on the Pigments portion. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna hit record here. Now I'm just playing the fourth, and the fifth, and the octave here. Nothing crazy. And there we go. All right. I'm gonna hit stop. And now we have our piano. Just some piano notes, random notes. Nothing special. Make them out a little bit. All right, cool. So now I'm going to switch over to my utility plug and make sure that's not hitting the compressor there. No, we're good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce that result out, and then we're going to put that into Pigments. All right. So I will freeze the track just like this, and then I will export it out of Ableton Live since there's no way to bounce in place. And here we go. I'm going to export and just call this piano drone, let's call this number 3. And we're gonna export it out. Now we have it, all right? Cool. So now let's open up Pigments and let's get started, all right? So we're gonna click on Engine 1 here, and we're gonna switch the engine type to sample. And then I'm going to grab that piano sample that I just made and plop it into sample engine. Now, like I said, it's very important that we memorize the note that we were playing. We were playing just A, E, and B. We're playing the key of E minor, so it's E, A, and B. That's the first, fourth, and fifth, right? So we're going to set the root note here to E. I'm going to set that to E3. And then as I play this, you're going to hear, we hear all that, right? Now we're hearing all that beautiful harmonic information. The envelope is super short, so if I lengthen out the envelope to more of an ambient pad style envelope, you're going to hear immediately how luscious this sounds. So here we go. We're going to turn the sustain down. That'll be our volume in this case. And just about like right here. Huh? Yeah. Cool. So that's just one playhead running through the whole thing. Now we're going to hit the granular button, and now listen to this. Ah, you see? So the granular engine is slicing that entire sample up, all right? Now, that doesn't sound really that good, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna increase the density of those grains, and we're gonna limit it to maybe 64 grains. Granular synthesis, if you don't know, is just a micro sampling across an entire frequency spectrum, or whatever you put in it. Now, Pigments comes with a bunch of great waveforms that you guys can play with, but we just made our own really quick using a piano and Supermassive. So I'm gonna increase the size here and the time. So let's check that out. And then we're gonna increase the direction to forward and backward here. So now as you can see, it's kind of moving backward and forward. I'm also gonna increase the start time to like the whole thing, because there were some notes there later on the end that I wanted. All right, and there's a filter knob over here, and we're gonna kind of lean that towards high pass. There's a lot of low end, you can tell, but that's perfect. Now over here we have the filter mix. So filter 1, filter 2, I'm gonna turn on filter 2, and we're gonna use it in just a second, but I'm gonna make sure that the output is set to filter 1, and then we can start playing with the filter here. 24 dB, that's a good filter for this, maybe even 12, because we're just feeling like we want a lot of that information to come through. I like that. That's a nice bed for our pad. I like it. Cool. So your CPU is sort of like dependent on how many voices you can have, and you know, everybody's gonna be different. So lower down the pitch here, we don't want much of that. We definitely don't want to hit unison while we're doing granular mode, unless you got, you know, the best of the best as far as CPU power goes. So I'm liking where this is going right now, okay? So now let's start adding something on top of it, all right? So we're gonna click on Engine 2 here, and we're gonna change this to Wavetable. All right. Now with the wavetable, there's tons of different wavetables that it comes with, but we don't really need anything fancy. Let's just pick like the third or fourth one over here, and we're just going to start playing this on top of our pad. Now, what we're going to do here is we're immediately going to change the filter mix to the other side. And what that's going to do is going to allow us separate control of these filters. So now we have a separate filter for 2. All right. We're also going to change the filter routing to split. So now we have split filters. All right, cool. Now what we're gonna do here, where the wavetable editing gets really spicy in Pigments, is in this modulator, okay? So what we're gonna do, there's 3 different modes. It says modulator tuning mode. You can do it relative, absolute, or hertz. Now relative is by octave, all right? But I found it's really cool to do it absolute, because that means you're changing it by semitones. Some of the semitones don't work, but what we're gonna do is change it to 5 semitones and then start folding this thing. You hear that? So it's like, ooh, like all of a sudden you get that gritty 5th note or 4th note, whatever, and it's just coming in. You can also change the shape of this modulator, all right? Or even the volume. You can increase the volume here. And the wave, the modulator wave. Ooh, here we go. All right, now I'm gonna change. There we go. You can see where I'm going with this, right? So we're gonna do some serious manipulation of this wavetable, and then we're gonna start playing with the filters and stuff. All right, so let's add some phase distortion. Sounding good. I like my wavetables like really ripsaw-like, you know, like they're just gonna grab you in the face. But for the ambient pads, you just kind of wanted to have it be on the upper end spectrum, but at the same time, you know, show restraint. So I'm gonna add some more voices to the unison over here, and there we go. Turn down the detune. Very nice. So you can hear when I start playing with the semitones in the modulator tuning. Now this is sort of like a low frequency oscillator. Like you're not gonna be able to hear this modulator, but at the same time, you're definitely going to see its influence in these wavetables. I like it. Now where it gets really crazy is when you choose the bottom level of the modulator wave. If you choose rumble right here, look at this. I don't think we want that. But I'm just saying, you can get pretty wild down here. There's some noise, red noise, pink noise, but we're just gonna keep it easy. Let's keep it to sawtooth or triangle. All right. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start modulating this stuff. So I'm going to maybe modulate the phase distortion. Let's increase that. There we go, like that. So let's, this middle row here is all your modulators. And let's just take LFO1 here, and we will slow down the rate of LFO1. And then with LFO1 highlighted in the middle, we're just going to start wave folding it. Very nice. We can just use the phase distortion, and then we're gonna start moving this wavetable around. Awesome. That sounds good to me. All right. So now we've added a little bit of interest to our wavetable, if you will. So here we go. Sounded very good. I like it. And now let's add some random movement to our LFO cutoff on filter number 2. So let's switch random 1 to sample and hold, and we're going to tie them together, the rise and fall, increase it to like 4 seconds. And then for the trigger, we're gonna keep it on clock. And what that's gonna do, it's just gonna kind of make it free running. And then over here on random 1, we're going to select our filter and just grab the outer edge. It's nice and purple. We like that. And then we're gonna change the rate down to like 2/1 or 4/1. And then for the full multi-filter mode, that's good. There we go. Nice, now we haven't even touched the effects yet. And that's how great Pigments is. Like you can really get some cool sound designs going and not even touch the effects. I love it. It sounded good to me. All right, but what Signs of Life video would be complete without some reverb and delay? So that's what we're gonna do here. Pigments has 3 different slots, FXA, FXB, and aux effects. So obviously FXA and B are where you're gonna stack all of your effects for the 2 engines, and then auxiliary is gonna sum them both up together. So they already sort of hint at like what you could possibly do here. I'm gonna add a bunch of reverb on the aux send, and then I'm gonna increase the send level in my synth. So what I'm gonna do is increase the decay here, take the pre-delay down, increase the size. And now what we have on an aux send, we're just gonna increase the send level here. There we go. Very nice. Awesome. I love what that wavetable's doing, because when you increase the filter level, we could probably tie that to velocity, then you really start getting some cool textures as you start to get higher on the keyboard. Let's do that. Take the velocity and hit it. There we go. See? I hit my push even harder, and now we have that upper end. I love it. Perfect. Awesome. All right, and let's move this down. Let's add a delay right before it. Delay, and then we're gonna hit the ping pong, and we are going to increase the feedback, keep the dry wet where it is, and then take the time division, and we're gonna select sync dotted and move that to dotted eighth notes. Yes. I love it. Excellent. Sounding good to me right now. Now, one thing you could do is you could probably pan these a little bit left and right, or you can modulate that. Ooh, we can modulate that, or in the aux effects, we could add the auto pan. There's a stereo pan here, and we could do that. We could just do it right here. Perfect. So if I turn the delay and reverb off, you can hear what this is doing. It's back and forth, heading it left and right. So now we are, there we go. All right, so we got a little movement there. Excellent. Take down the width. Perfect. I love it. All right, now, a couple final touches here, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on the new utility engine, and we are going to add some noise, and we're gonna add a sub oscillator, all right? So with the noise, what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn on the noise here, and we are going to tie the volume to a separate envelope. So I'm just gonna click ADR here, which just means attack, decay, and release, and then I'm gonna increase the attack, change my curve, and then increase the decay, and the curve looks good, and then I'm going to tie that to the volume of the first utility noise engine, okay? There we go. Nice. Cool. So every time we hit that keyboard, we can increase the attack there. And then the volume on envelope 2 does not have to be so extreme. We could probably go halfway. That subtle hint of noise. I like it. Excellent. Now, we're going to add the sub-oscillator, which is so kind of them to add it for us. So we're gonna add a sub-oscillator here, and we are going to change the output to direct out, okay? It's already kind of preset as a negative 12 dB, but you can hear, as soon as you add a sub-oscillator to any pad, it adds that extra bit of gravity to the pad. Kind of grounds it. I love this. Woo! All right, so let's go over where we started. We started by creating a piano drone in Ableton, just by using a simple piano and Supermassive. And we put that into the Granular engine, sampled it all up, made some Swiss cheese out of it, and then we added a wavetable, started morphing that wavetable on top of it, and then we added some noise on top of that, and also sub-oscillator with effects, ambient pad in Arturia Pigments. I love it. Nice. Final thoughts here. We barely scratched the surface. I mean, this was just the beginning. This is the first video in the series. And I hope that as the videos go on, we can uncover more secrets, because Pigments continues to surprise me every single time that I use it. It is one of the most versatile synths in my arsenal. And I hope you guys have found this video useful and you're excited about the future of Pigments. I really hope that they continue development on this synth, because there's a lot more yet to discover, and there's a lot more to come. My name is Chris from Signs of Life. Happy droning, y'all. Take good care, and I'll see you guys in the next one.